So, Jamie, I'd love to hear your take on this. I think mindset's a huge part of, as you've emphasized, Ed. But I also think, as you can see from this chart, there's a problem, which is that if the owner is trapped talking to clients and managing staff, there's very little time for them to work on the business. And you've got to eke out extra time to work on the business. And your workload will actually increase in the short term to medium term until it decreases, which we can see on this inflection point here. Jamie, I'd love to hear your take on some of those topics, the mindset piece, eking out time to work on the business. And I'd love to hear a bit about your own experience in Sky Accountants and how you achieved that working with Ed.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Yeah, 10 years ago, I used to sit there in the office and think about, I think, Albert Einstein's quote. He said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result. So if you go to work every day and you do the same thing, obviously nothing's going to change. That quote really got to me in the end. I thought, well, I've got to make a change. If I'm going to, sit here for the next 10 and 20 years and expect something different, I've got to make a change. There's different things that get through to different people, and it doesn't matter how many times you hear it. Sometimes it might be the 10th time you hear it that penny drops. So that was the thing for me. And then another thing that sort of, when I look back in reflection, is Newton's third law. He said that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So in other words, I thought, well, if I keep just, 1 hour a day, if I just take 1 hour a day and work on my firm with the right activities, and we always call them quad 2 activities, quote Dr. Stephen Covey, then I'd eventually get some change. So there's always different ways to look at things. And, in the Wize Vault, there's a lot on withdrawing from the org chart, as Ed just said. But at the same time, if you start doing different activities, then what'll happen is you'll get an outcome. So first it's the mindset, then you'll start doing different activities. Now, different activities are like, training. So training people, educating your clients, hiring people, delegating. So these are all sort of these not urgent, but important things. So another way to look at it is simply by be conscious of what you do every day. And I think I've told this story 1,000 times where for quite some years, I had a sticker on the top corner of my computer screen and it said, what am I doing? What am I doing? And every time I'd look at that sticker, I think, hang on, is this a task that someone else should be doing? So do whatever works for you. Put a sticker on your computer screen, put a big poster on your wall, do something that will remind you that you shouldn't be doing the task yourself. Busy accountant in the world or bookkeeper in the world will say, oh, it's quicker if I just do it myself. Well, it's not. That's just a short-term quick fix. It's a short term. It doesn't get you anywhere. It's like the hamster on the treadmill. So the point is every day when you go to work and you start doing some work, think about, can I delegate this? And when you delegate it, it'll be a task somewhere in that org chart on those 7 divisions. And like Ed said, it could be in the accounts area. It could be in the admin area. 18 years ago when I started my own firm, Tim, I did everything. I started with one client like Ed. I actually did absolutely everything. And then you have to learn to delegate. And one of the biggest steps to delegate is Division 4 is the production work, actually doing the tax returns, doing the financial statements or doing the bookkeeping, right? And then a bigger hurdle on that is client managers. As you investigate all the Wize knowledge and the blueprint, you'll come to the point at some point in time where you have to hire a client manager. And, I'm just looking in the room here, there's some people that have already done that. So, and that's really game changing too, Tim, is when you hire a client manager and you have to take a courage pill, have a packet of Tim Tams or something there, whatever, some sweet. Every time you refer a client, have a double back a meeting and hand over a client to a client manager, give yourself a pat in the back. It takes a lot of courage. Some people can't do that. And so here at Wize, we encourage you to take that next step in Division 4 in sales, to introduce your clients to a client manager and then delegate that process, So it is a journey and you will be challenged, but it's worth it because, it's all about getting a better lifestyle, looking after your mental health, looking after your physical health, scaling your firm, learning the skills of how to delegate successfully. I think that's one of the biggest things that you'll ever learn is how to delegate successfully and continue on the journey and hopefully, in the Wize community that you can learn those skills and be supported by ourselves and the mentors, so that, you know, you'll come across all these issues. And a lot of the issues are people issues, Tim, you know, because you've got to be a leader. You have to be a leader, you know, and what's that? You know, I didn't know what that was. And you can learn leadership, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, no, awesome, Jamie. Thanks for that.